Just if you are coming through, just checking just to make sure our microphones are muted. Creating your sacred sanctuary if you're just joining us. Grabbing a hold of what you need, no need to rush or be in a mad frenzy. I know sometimes separating time can be a bit strange at the moment, particularly if we're doing everything at home. It's really difficult for us to separate. Once upon a time, there was a time when we could come home and just let go and surrender. And still be able to do that. So creating sacred spaces in your home. You can keep it free of any other energy. So find your comfortable seat. The legs might be crossed. They might be in a loose cross. You might support the knees. You might pop some blocks underneath them or elevate the hips quite high as you sit up on a bolster. You might prefer to sit on your heels. But a position that you are easily able to maintain comfortably. We sit, we breathe, we witness. So welcome, beautiful yogis and yoginis. Welcome to your Yin Yoga practice. First and foremost, thank yourself. Thank yourself for making the choice to be here. And give yourself full permission to arrive. Notice any thoughts. Choose what you wish to do with those thoughts. Do you wish to entertain them? Do you wish just to allow them to float away? And the thoughts might continue to persist. And again, you have the choice. What do you wish to do with that next thought? The use of breath is a perfect anchor to bring us back into the body, into the present moment. And perhaps when we begin to witness our breath, we recognize this phenomena of breath and life as one. So just take some slower, more conscious breaths in. So as that next breath arises, to notice about that breath as it moves into your lungs, as you sip all of the oxygen in as much as you can. And then witness what happens when you exhale your breath. Can you find a sense of ease with that exhalation? Can you witness the pause? Witness the breath as it moves in, lungs expand, belly rises, open heart, mind. And as you exhale the breath, watch the breath moving from the nostrils, leaving the body as a sense of clearing. In order to begin again, your next breath in is that opportunity to begin again. New moment. Just keep witnessing the breaths, using the exhalation as this clearing, this releasing breath, this eliminating breath, and the breath in to draw in more and more your prayers, your intentions. What are you breathing in? What are you conscious of breathing in? And what are you holding on to, perhaps subconsciously or consciously, that you might be able to witness as a release through your physical body? Take 5 more soft, smooth breaths, watching each breath. Cool air moves in. Warm air leaves the body through the nostrils. Soft jaw, soft temples, soft shoulders, long spine. Energy flows through the central channel, that main channel, Sushumna Nadi. As you complete your 5 breaths, slowly fold your palms together into the center of your chest. Allow yourself to remain true to your practice, to stay true to you, to come back home time and time again. Or rub your hands gently together. And then just start to rub them a little quicker, a little faster, more warmth, more heat, more fire. Start to build heat energy in your hands and feel that friction. And then just keep rubbing. Like you're building a fire outdoors, rubbing 2 sticks between your hands. And then you're going to bring those hands over the eyes and over the face and feel that fire beginning to ignite. Igniting you from the inside out. Blink the eyes open. Perhaps a little lightness comes through. Blinking more and more, spreading fingers more and more. Allow your eyes to adjust to your surroundings. Namaste, welcome. My name is Eva, if you haven't met me before. We are going to slowly come down onto our belly from here, so just kind of find your way there, whether it be that you come forward, whether you straighten the legs, maybe come to hands and knees before you come onto the belly. But eventually we're going to find the abdomen. We're just going to slowly release ourselves down. We're just going to bring our hands under our shoulders and just press up a little into a little back bend, inhaling. And then as you exhale, just gently take it down. And then see if you can feel the wave of your breath pressing you up a little and guiding you back down. And it's not a push or a force, just this real gentle, light breath that lifts you slightly. The exhalation that takes you down. You might float just briefly off the earth. You might not come up as high. Notice yourself being moved by your breath. Take 3 more rounds. Belly presses. As you open your heart. As the breath releases, you're empty. When you complete your 3 rounds, just gently press back to a child's pose. And stack one fist on top of the other. And bring a palm on top of the other, or just the forehead, and allow it to rest on the earth. Just notice the pulse in your lower back lumbar region. Noticing the hips, the pelvis. Breathing in, breathing out. Notice the back body rising, breath moving into the side ribs. Take 3 more breaths. We're going to come back down onto the abdomen again. This time with the option to bring a bolster underneath you. So we are going to find a nice supported variation of where we were before. So it might be bringing a bolster under the armpits or a rolled up blanket to come into a really beautiful, gentle variation of the sphinx. Seal pose. We can come into sphinx a little later. Separating the feet wide gives you a little more release through the lower back. You might have some blocks that you might wish to use if you don't have a bolster. You might just have forearms on the earth with the head or chin towards the chest, head towards the forehead towards the earth. So any nice, gentle, light back bend position where you're in at least about a 60% of your range. So you're not at a point where you already can't breathe. Yin is about coming into the pose at about 60% of your capacity, and then the rest happens through time. So let your eyes settle behind your closed eyelids. And bring awareness to the space between your eyebrows. And then take a moment to look inwards at what stuff is yours and what stuff might be somebody else's. And sometimes we can get very caught up. So giving this time for you is important for you to come back home, home to your heart, home to your truth. Surrender any tension from your physical body. Scan your fingers, your toes. Allow the jaw to be soft, tongue perhaps falling forward, maybe even floating between your part lips. How can you surrender more? Do you maybe turn your palms up? How can you be heavy? And allow whatever needs to pass through you to just pass through. The emotions, the walls, barriers, the dialogue. Just notice everything that makes you human. And then notice what parts you can change. Just changing the way that you look at something. Changing your perception. Breathing in and out. Noticing the space in the back of the neck. Noticing the weight of your skull, your brain. Noticing that space behind the eyebrows and into that cranial area. Just imagining an indigo light or that indigo color. That color of lapis lazuli. Those gold flecks. That is your center of deep inner knowing, of intuition. Just connect to that. It seems that for me, I feel I'm much more connected to people on this level, particularly because we are being asked to. As we no longer have as much contact with human beings, we develop other senses. So generally we might know that, or notice rather, that somebody might be thinking of you, and you might be thinking of somebody and then they call you, or there's other synchronistic events that you're noticing just through your thoughts and your thoughts alone. Take 5 more breaths. And then once you've taken those 5 breaths, choose whether you wish to stay for another 5 or whether you wish to come up into seal pose, which is a slightly higher back bend. You can walk the hands in. You can place your forearms on a bolster. Just try not to tense if you do come up. And then once you've settled, take your 5 breaths from now. And then be in that place of complete ease. The breath is still moving you. The breath is still light. Your heart still beats. Counting your 5 breaths. If you feel there's some extra breaths there and you want to hold for a little longer, you're more than welcome to. If you're ready to come out, we're just going to meet in rebound, which is just coming down onto the belly, and allow it to be a really slow journey down. See if you can bend the elbows really slowly if you did come up, or remove any props from underneath you. And then notice whether you wish to turn the head to one side, or whether you wish to bring one hand on top of the other and rest the forehead there. What gives you the most release? Tap into your truth. Feel what you feel pulsing through your body. We're just going to bend the knees so the feet come up to the ceiling. And then just start to swish them around a little, move them side to side, take some circles. Let the pelvis, hips, pubic bone kind of lift off the earth. Just to feel that lower lumbar region. And then we're going to press ourselves back into child's pose. The hands will come onto your shoulders. And just gently go ahead and press yourself back to child's pose. Again, you can stack the fists, the hands, bring the forehead on the earth or on a block. If you prefer to bring the arms beside you or have them forward instead, just choose a place. Feel the release through the lower lumbar area and just breathe in and out. Allow enough space for your belly to melt between the thighs. And to just stay, to be. To enjoy this shape, this feeling, the tenderness, the safety, the inner joy, and maybe the warm smile that appears on your lips. Staying in that inner aware place, still connecting with that color turquoise, not turquoise, lapis lazuli color. Connecting to that third eye. Just walk the hands forward if they're not already there. And then just gently rise to hands and knees. And then just take some circles through the hips. Little slow, gentle waves, semicircles or full circles. And then let the movement be guided by your own truth. As you tap into the second yama, satya, truthfulness. And after you've moved a little, start to find a downward facing dog or stay in child's pose. But it might feel nice just to lift the hips off the earth and just to pedal a little through your feet, just to notice the legs, the hips, the hands, the weight. And take a little bend and just come forward to plank. And then lower knees, untuck the toes, shift back, child pose. And then inhale, rise back to hands and knees. As you exhale, curl toes, lift knees down, dog, or come back, child's pose. Taking a breath in. And a breath out. Just do that again, just moving a little between yin and yang. Inhale forward, plank, knees or the legs are straight. As you exhale, we all lower knees, untuck toes, shift back, child's pose. Take a full breath in. Exhale, breath out. So as you inhale, rise onto your knees and your shins, sweep your arms out wide and up. As you exhale, we're going to step our left foot forward and bring the hands to frame the front foot. And then you're just going to bend and straighten that front left knee. So we've got the left leg forward so we can honor the yin, which is the left side of the body to begin with. And then just noticing that little bend and that straightening that front knee. You might need to pad up your back knee. You might find that it's more comfortable for you to sit back. We are going to straighten the front leg and find hanumon. Some of you might prefer to come a little further forward and place perhaps props underneath you. Some of you might wish to explore eventually after a few breaths, coming more into that fuller expression of hanumon. So it is getting into the back of your left leg, but it's also going to get into the front of the hip depending on how deep you come into this one. You can prop your heel up on something, so you can, there are so many variations of this one. This is where I miss being in an environment where I can actually see all of your beautiful bodies, shapes that you create. But I'll just envision it with my mind's eye. I connect deeper and deeper with my own intuition. So just let yourself settle as you breathe in and out. After a few breath cycles, notice if you are at about your 60% range. Know that it might feel quite deep after about a minute or so. Knowing this, find a place of easeful breath. So if you're struggling to breathe, that's generally the indication that you've come a little far. When you've taken a few breaths, the sensations settle. You might notice you delve a little deeper into yourself. Keep the awareness inwards. Closing the eyes, settling and breathing. Thoughts might come, but just as easily let them go. And do you perhaps catch a thought and feel a physical sensation in your body? Knowing that our thoughts and the response that our thoughts send to our body are connected. So when we have a memory of something that might have happened to us, the body doesn't know that it's in the past. As soon as you have that memory and that response, the body lives it real time. So coming back to breath, coming back to presence, letting go of stories, letting go of past, future, to be here now, breathing, full breaths, barely rising and falling, head becoming heavier, space between the eyebrows smoother, teeth parted, soft tongue, Scan your body. Where is the resistance? Why is there resistance? Tune in, feel. Breathing in, breathing out. Assess where you are for the final 5 breaths. Take them slowly with loving ease. When you complete 5 breaths, take all the time that you need to come out. Ensure that it is a slow journey. Just slide the heel in. Perhaps bend that knee. And then just come back. Child's pose or back onto the belly. And be still. And feel. And come back to that home base of your heart beating. The breath in your body. Moving in and out. And then just very slowly come back to child's pose if you came back onto your belly. Just inhale, come forward to plank, hands and knees. Feel the toes under, lift the knees, downward facing dog. Just pause there for a few breaths, just noticing the left and the right side of the body, bending the knees, alternating, just feeling. And then come forward to a plank position. And then lower the knees, untuck the toes. And just rise onto the shins, circle the arms out wide. And then as you exhale, it's the left foot that's going to step. Right foot. My apologies. The yang. And then just bend and straighten the front leg. Lift the toes. Just start to notice the point where you feel guided to pause. And then you might reach for a few props. You might find the side feels a lot different. You might be sitting further back. We're all going to vary. For me, I can't sit back. I get knee pain. So you don't want to feel pain in your body. There are so many other variations that you'll know because your body guides you to that place. So don't ever think one shape is always the right one. And then just allow the breath to become present once again. Breathe, assess the breath. Assess if you wish to go a little deeper after a few breaths. And know there's plenty of time. Be guided. You honor your truth. You're in that flow of satya. Breathing in, breathing out, movement, stillness, just explore. You can come to a still place where you can settle, you can breathe, you can surrender, you can be heavy, like a rag doll. Relaxing toes, fingers, hands. Relaxing feet and ankles. Soft calves. Shins, knees. Hamstrings, hip flexors, quadriceps. Scan the whole lower part of your body. Notice your pelvic bowl, that bony structure. The legs attach, spine attaches. Breathe in and out. Visualize your anatomy. Notice your skeletal structure, the muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, fascia, connective tissues, the veins, the blood. Witness your physicality, skin, the hair upon your body, and how everything has its purpose. Eyelashes, eyebrows, the hairs in your nose, hairs in your ears. What are you holding on to? Be human. Feel your body, its capabilities. Notice your mind, your thoughts, your spirit. Kind of merging between all of these. A balanced point. That is you. Being your truth. If there's tension that builds, if there's tightness, ask the body what message it might have for you, what you're resisting, what you might be holding back. Be surprised that the answers are there when you are still, when you are quiet. It's going to be 5 more breaths. Find where you'd like to explore those 5 breaths. Nice and deep. Breathe. Slowly. In and out. Complete your 5 rounds of breath. Take your time, slow movement, slower than what you would like to come out. Press up maybe, shift back a fraction, and then maybe a fraction more, and then maybe pause. And then again, just notice where you wish to stop next. You just pause in a tabletop position for a moment. You might come back to child's pose. Or you might come down onto the abdomen. Find stillness once you do. And just notice the release through your body. And any thoughts that might arise after you come out of your pose. And notice what your thoughts are about. Are they loving thoughts towards yourself? Are you being judgmental? Are you being true? And I'm just going to slowly press up. Let's take a little movement. You might come to down dog. It might be child's pose. You might move the hips a little. And then we're going to come to lay on our back. So just find your way there. And then hug your knees into your chest when you get there and just allow a circling action of the knees on the ceiling. And just notice again that pelvic bowl. Just notice the lower back connecting to the earth and then lifting perhaps. Notice the chin as the head rolls. And then just release the feet down onto the earth. And then just lift your hips, move them to the right side of your mat. And either cross your right knee over your left thigh and then lift the left and cross the ankle. Some of us might be able to come into twisted root. We're going to take a twist to the left. If not, you're just twisting to the left. You can extend the top leg. You might bring a bolster or a block between the thighs. You might support the knee. You might support your right shoulder and arm. You might find that that right shoulder actually lifts off the earth, or it might feel nice for it to stay lifted. So you're either in a twisted root or a different variation of a twist. And then the arms don't have to stay where they are. So for some of us, it might be that you play around with this right arm. It might feel a little different if you lift it up. It might feel nicer just to lift it over the head so it's not as an intense twist. So bringing it a little bit kind of further to the left shoulder might take the twist out of it a little. But again, you're going to be guided to what your body is calling for. Some of you might prefer to turn the chin in the opposite direction. If it feels like it's too much effort, however, just let it flop to where it's most comfortable, because essentially Yin is all about flopping into the pose and really getting deeper into the fascia and the connective tissues rather than just the layers of muscle. So settle into your twist. Let there be an inner smile, sense of inner joy, a softness between the eyebrows. As you come back to that sixth chakra, that sixth center, we are moving into the upper chakras, to that place where we're connecting on very different levels. Still important to stay grounded, to remember that we have a physical body, to put our feet in the earth, our hands in the earth to plant seeds. Breathe in and out. See if you can breathe more oxygen into your body. Maybe hold the breath for a moment. And as you empty the breath, do you feel more of a twist? Do you feel yourself surrendering deeper? Feel the body, the mind click into place. Soft, smooth breaths. In and surrender a little deeper. Drop in a little more. And once you've settled, 5 more breaths. Complete your 5 rounds of breath slowly and on your own count. And then let your body unravel in increments. Enjoy the journey out just as you enjoyed it in. It might take a little while to release the hook of the leg. You might want to lift the hips and bring them back to center. And just find rebound, knees bent or extended. The arms can come a little closer, or you can lift them above the crown of the head, holding your wrist. Just pause and settle and release any physical tension, any mental resistance. And then when you feel like moving next, just as we did before, you might hug knees, you might create circles, you might rock side to side, you might take some windshield wipers with the knees. Permission to move, to connect to you, your higher self, your truth. And then we'll be taking the knees over to the right. So as the feet come to the earth, moving the hips to the left, so lifting them, bumping them to the left, and then placing them back down. Gives you a little more space when you twist. And then just choose your variation. You might move the hips over again. You might support your left hand maybe, or you might place the block or a bolster under the right and left knee, so you might notice that happening, or the leg might straighten out. You might have the inner thigh or the inner ankle area on a bolster or a block. Just notice your arms, where they feel most comfortable, your chin. Closed eyes, coming back to that sense of the inner knowing. Breathing the awareness up and down your spine, Shushumna Nadi. Scanning the physical body. Scanning the mental body. Noticing the breath body, pranamaya. The wisdom body, vijnanamaya. And then notice the core, who you are, anandamaya, your bliss body. Breathe in and out through all of the subtle layers of self. From form to formless, melting into the earth. Heavy head, soft jaw. Experience this human existence in all of its glory, all of its form, all that it has to show us. Indifferent of our opinion. Be the witness. Breathing in. Maybe exhaling a little longer than the inhalation. Focus on that breath out being just a fraction longer. Notice the magic occurring on your exhalation. Scan the body. Feel the breath. Settle. Now 5 more breaths. On the completion of your 5th breath, just pause there for a moment. Notice your next move. The sensations and the slow, subtle movements. Down crossing at the legs, the hips as they move to center, which might feel an effort to lift the pelvis off the earth. Come to stillness, come to neutral, come to rebound. I take a few breaths for the legs to straighten, or you might prefer to keep them bent. Observe the current through your body. When you feel ready to make some movement, feel it from the inside out. Be guided, intuitively. And then roll yourself over to one side. Just let yourself be there, still, grounded, yet light. And then use one hand and then the other to press yourself up. And we're going to come into a saddle, reclined saddle. So that might look a little like this. So single leg or double, where I'll do the other leg just so you can see me. So basically bending one knee. If you need to elevate the hips, you can always roll up a blanket and place it underneath the pelvis. You can stay upright, you don't need to recline, but it might feel nice to eventually recline. So we are targeting the front of the hip. So let's start with the left leg behind and the right leg straight. Some of you might wish to do double leg. I will cue you when to switch. So if you feel that you can sustain a double leg, bend them both. If not, I'll guide you halfway through. So find that variation, whether it be upright or not. We're all going to be very different. Any knee pain, modify, adjust, come out. Maybe just lean back or let the head hang back. When we focus on the breath and we forget about the thoughts, the physical sensations just become what they are, just sensations. And then maybe from there you notice yourself just surrendering a little more as you delve into the physical sensation. And of course, for some of us, we might prefer more depth. For me, I don't tend to feel as much with the bolster. So by all means, there is always that option to not have that bolster behind you. To settle wherever you are and to breathe. On the surface, we all might look very different in the shape, but we are all getting the medicine that we need. Breathe that medicine into your soul. Breathing in and out. If you do have a single leg, you might want to go a little bit deeper if you are able to hold that, because we will be coming out and switching in about a minute. And that might now be 5 more breaths. And you don't have to rush to the second side. You might wish to pause in between. You might try to figure out a way to come out of it as well. It might not be the way that you came in. You might roll to one side. I just lay flat for a moment. And then it'll be the opposite side. So it should be the right knee bent with the left leg straight, unless you did the other side, which really doesn't matter. Or you might be in the double leg, which in no case, no doubt you'll be feeling at this point. Breathing in and out. Starting to find that language and words are almost not even, they're not easy to come out, I find, anymore. It's as if the words just don't have the power behind the thoughts, or the insights, the wisdom. And that might also be because I spend less and less time talking. You might notice the same thing, perhaps not being able to verbalize your experiences. And as soon as you start to verbalize them, they lose completely the intensity of the way that you felt them. So this is where less is more. Sometimes saying less can speak 1,000 words. The silence, the space in between. And without the silent pauses between music, it would just be sound. Breathe in, breathe out, settle. Witness what you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. Know that we won't be here for very much longer. And you settle in that knowing, in that truth. Five more breaths. Find your own way out of this one. There's no easy way out. You might come up, you might just take the feet out from underneath you. Just remove any props so you can then come down onto your back and really sense the lower part of the body. Maybe the pulse down your thighs, maybe it created quite a deep lumbar curve. Just feel the flow of blood moving through your body, the tingling sensations, and the alertness, the aliveness, and the responsiveness of your beautiful vessel. Love your body, love your mind, love your soul. You might need a little movement after that one. You might not. You might just land on the earth and enjoy that. You might wish to hug knees in, maybe roll the ankles, maybe move the legs up and down a little to get into the knee joints. We all tend to feel things in different parts of the body. And then we are coming to our final pose. So you might come into traditional Shavasana. You might prefer to come up and take a seated meditation. You might place a blanket on top of you, a bolster on top of the thighs, an eye pillow. You might dim the lights. Settle back on the earth, seated, laying down, but surrender. If you're seated, there will be a long spine, so muscles are active to keep us upright. If you're on the earth, you're able to fully let go. You can rest the hands in the lap, on the knees, or out wide if you are on the earth. Wherever you have landed, your heart beats, your breath softens. You ground your energy into the earth. You feel our human instincts firing off, which keeps us here alive, safe in this body. Ground that energy. And once that energy is grounded, you feel connected to the earth, or if you need further visual, throw down a red, orange colored cord from the base of the spine down to the earth, knowing that we are always plugged in. And then there's the energy from the earth that moves up through the spine, piercing out the crown of the head, connecting us to source, to divine. And then the energy from above comes piercing through back down to the earth. So there's this current quite literally through us. And there is no separation. And we are being moved, we're being called, we all have a purpose. When we are still, we know our truth. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Everything that you seek is not outside of you, it is inside of you. And the more time that we have alone, the more we see this, the more we are able to develop this beautiful relationship with every part of us, to witness all aspects of ourselves, and to have the choice whether we wish to stay stuck or whether we choose freedom. Breathe in and feel that life force, that energy that is you. Trust. And if you're on your back and you do wish to complete our practice collectively, just slowly start to wriggle, start to make some movements. We either meet in a seat, or you can definitely stay laying and continue a little bit after our time here together if that's your truth. We're going to bring the palms together at the center of the chest when we land. Keep imagining this orange-red light that connects us to the earth, this fire that grounds us, and the energy that moves up through that central channel, through the crown, piercing the top of the head, connecting us above, and then feeling that source energy pouring down from the crown. And then bring those two energies into the center of your chest. That is the place of balance, where we harness the lower and the higher energies. We bow gently in honor of that light inside of us, that sense of balance between yin and yang. Have a beautiful journey into your evening. My name is Eva. Namaste.